Good Monday morning. Well, today we are going to be talking all about the 7 fears that are holding you back from success. Now, I know that at least one of those today that I'm going to talk about, you will be able to connect with and resonate with. There have been times when I have actually suffered from all of them at different points of my life. And I'm going to be sharing with them because sometimes if we don't recognize where fear is coming from, then there's no way that we can come up with a solution to some of the problems that arise. A lot of us just think that our business is all about just getting students, right? But there's a mindset that is actually hindering us from being able to get those clients. And today my goal is to help you release what those fears are, one at a time, taking baby steps so that you can begin getting the results that you want to get inside of your business. Thanks you guys so much for joining me today. My name is Joanne Kaminski, and I am the online tutor business coach. I started my own online tutoring business back in 2010. And I've been helping other tutors receive the kinds of success that I have received in my own tutoring business since 2012. My big goal is be able to help tutors that they're really great at what they do, but they struggle with how to get clients. So by uncovering these fears today, it's going to help you be able to get some of those clients. So keep listening. And if you want to share with us who you are and where you are from, please introduce who you are inside of the chat. I want to be able to recognize you and give you kudos for showing on up. Some people aren't willing to face their fears and be able to overcome them. So, just even being here just shows how much you care about the success that you are going to receive inside of your business. Now, I did write some notes here, okay, because there's a lot of stuff that I don't want to forget. There's really important information with each of these, and I also go into affirmations that I discovered that will help you with overcoming them. What's an affirmation? An affirmation is something that you say to yourself on a daily basis, right? We got to write these affirmations down, and we need to actually repeat them over and over again so that we rewire our brain and our old way of thinking. So that's going to be my goal today, is to help you with the rewiring. So the very first fear is the fear of success. What? Is that even a thing? Yeah, it really is. So there may have been a time when you were younger and maybe you got a good grade on something, right? And your peers started making fun of you, like, oh my gosh, you're such a nerd. You always get good scores. Or even like your parents may have said something like, oh, you think you're so good now because you do so good in school. And I heard this one a lot. You might be book smart, young lady, but you don't have life skills. And I just thought, like, that was actually something that was deeply rooted inside of me, that I was book smart, but maybe I wasn't life smart, right? Like, other people tried to, like, bring you down. And so there are things that we start doing to limit the amount of success then that we have because of it, right? So in order for you to overcome it, you have to face it. So the first one is to, figure out, where did it start for you? And this is just a journaling activity. You can take 20 or 30 minutes, start writing it down. Maybe you've already gone through a process similar to this, and you have already discovered where it stemmed from. Now, the next thing, once you start realizing it, think about, like, who was involved and how did you feel as all that was happening? We have to get to the deep root of those feelings and what they made us feel, because that's what we're trying to overcome. And then you just keep repeating this process day in, day out until you discover more of, like, what is my fear of success all about? And then track your avoidance strategies that you may have developed, because this is one of the things. If I have a fear of success, then I'm going to avoid doing things that are going to make me successful. All right. So you might not take action, because if you took action, that would lead to success, right? You might shy away from people who give you compliments. You might hang around with people that don't challenge you or push you, right? Because they're comfortable. What you want to do is you want to face these fears of success. And if you shy away from compliments, just begin saying, thank you, right? No need to say anything else after that, like, oh, it was nothing. It was super easy. Don't just say thank you. That's it, right? You don't want to eliminate what people are saying about you by saying, oh my gosh, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was, all these other people. They're responsible for it. So here are some success affirmations that you can put into your daily, reading list. I love to put these together and begin saying them to myself because over time they become more true as you begin rewiring. And especially if they're your own voice, so you can record them with you saying them. The first one is, I believe in myself enough to follow through. Number 2, I resist temptations and remain focused on my dream. Number 3, I am persistent and consistent. Number 4, I am passionate about my goals and I convert my dreams into reality with unwavering courage. Number 5, I'm open and receptive to all the wealth and success that life offers me. Number 6, I am ambitious. And number 7, I am successful. You get used to saying that one because you can't be successful if you can't say that in your head. I am successful, all right? The second one that a lot of people have is the fear of failure. And what is this? This is a fear that actually stops us from taking action that would promote our success. They sound similar to fear of success, but the fear of failure, actually think about it from like a perfectionist point of view, right? So that perfectionist who's going to do everything absolutely to the T, perfect, turn it on in, expect that A+, right? That kind of mentality is actually going to hinder you from being able to finish activities, right, that you need to do in order to get success. So if you're constantly thinking about, let's say, a flyer that you're putting out, you can't put it out because it's not perfect yet, right? It has to be perfect. It has to, have all of my dots and my T's crossed. And I can't put it on out there until it does that. We get stuck in trying to redo something over and over and over again, but we really don't know how to improve it. So get around people who know to help you improve it. Know that your first one will never be your best and that you're just going to keep improving as you continue to learn more, okay? And so don't worry so much. Like, getting it done sometimes is better than doing it perfect, right? Sometimes it's the act of doing it that is going to get you results. So how do you overcome this? Well, you want to understand that everything is a learning experience, right? This is not about, you guys, that everything has to be perfect. Everything is a learning opportunity. And are you going to make mistakes as you go through that process? Of course, we all do. And so, forgive yourself for being human and accept that you are going to make mistakes. Number 2, be open to clarity that you receive from the experience, right? When one door closes, another one opens. You've heard that before. But the more clear that you get from doing certain things, you become clear on, okay, why did I not enjoy doing that? Or is that something I should be doing? Is that an action that I should be doing? Number 3, don't personalize it. You want to separate the goal that you're trying to achieve from who you are as a person. So if I fail to get any clients from a flyer that I put out, that doesn't mean that I myself am a failure. It just means that my flyer, the way I presented it, did not work. And so I need to think of, okay, what could I learn from that experience in order to get more success? The next one is question your failures. How can you learn from it? What can you do better? How can you use that information to have a more successful outcome? And the last one is just be inspired. Like, listen to other people's stories that it seems like they overcame so much to be able to get the success that they have today. Those are going to be stories that will inspire you. And I share a lot of tutors' journey stories here on this channel that you'll want to check on out. By the way, I would love to welcome some of our people that are joining us this morning. Good morning, Crystal Harrison. So glad you are here. And Janice, thank you guys. We've got Gloria in the house. Thank you. So glad that you guys are here and really like learning about each of these different failures, because now you're going to be able to do something about it. So when it comes to fear of failure, here are some affirmations that you can say for yourself. My fears will not stand in the way of my goals. My thoughts, actions, and mood ooze confidence. I deserve everything I want in life. I am doing the best I can. I have nothing to fear from failure. Failure is to try is the only failure there is. I'm courageous enough to take actions and chances. The road to success is being paved for me. I will succeed no matter what. Nothing will stand in my way. And this is something that you hear from a lot of those people that do share their stories of success that they have. I've heard like Will Smith say, no one will work harder than I do and be able to achieve the results that I achieve. And that isn't arrogance. That is coming from, he knows himself enough to know that he's going to work as hard as he possibly can so that he can get those results that he wants in his life. You can't outwork somebody who is self-motivated, can you? Now, another fear that a lot of people have is fear of rejection. And this is a fear that people aren't going to accept who you are. Now, some of us, we may have experienced some of this through childhood. It can be simple things that we don't even think about, like not getting invited to a birthday party or someone turning you down for a date or getting divorced, right? These all stem from thinking I'm not good enough and people rejecting you as a person. Now, how do you overcome this? Well, first, validate your feelings, right? Don't tell yourself that you shouldn't be feeling the way that you're feeling. You're feeling the way that you're feeling. Also, look for the learning opportunities. What could I have done different in these different situations? And then reframe your fear. So this might not work out, but if it doesn't, I'm going to have a meaningful experience and I'm going to learn from it. And remind yourself of your worth. And keep things in perspective, right? Let's say like a client says no to you. Well, they just said no to you right now. They're not saying no to you forever. We don't know all of their circumstances, right? The other thing to think about is, the more no's I receive, the closer I am to a yes. So just think of it as, okay, in every single business, people hear no. This isn't about me personally. This is just the way business works. Am I right? Like type in there if I'm right about this, that yes, people will say no to you if you are in business. Doesn't matter what you're in business for. Like just go to, the local gas station and maybe they try to upsell you on the gum that's there. And then you say, no, thank you, right? Are you rejecting that person because they said no, thank you to the offer of the gum? No, absolutely not. They probably even realize, oh, they just don't want gum, right? And that's what we have to think about it right now. Like they're just not looking for our services right now or the way that we are offering them, and that's totally fine. Maybe you're offering online tutoring and they're like, no, I want in-person tutoring, right? And they specifically are headstrong. You've tried to, talk around it and just be like, explain the benefits and the differences between like in-person and that virtual schooling that they did last year, right? But they still are like, nope, they're headstrong. Those aren't the people you're trying to go after, okay? You're going after those people that are going to say yes. So let it go. Don't take it personally. And you're going to find that next person who's going to say yes. So, but you do want to reject any negative self-talk that you find yourself getting on into, because you might start to criticize yourself, right? So if you find yourself doing this, you start saying things like, oh, I wasn't prepared enough, or I'm no good at this. Instead, turn those thoughts around and say, you know what? I'm getting better and better every time. I am becoming more prepared each time. Or you can also lean on your support network. So this is why I have created the ultimate support group for online tutors, to support you guys. This is why I've created the Insider Secrets Club, so that you guys can lean on other people that are feeling similar things and how they go about, overcoming them. So some of the things that we can say to ourselves are, for releasing this fear of rejection, I am free from fear of rejection. This isn't about me as a person. This is about the business services I'm offering. I'm socially confident. I take risks even when I feel fear. I remain relaxed even though I might be rejected. I always stay positive in intimidating social situations. I'm good at talking to new people. I always take the risk of going after something I want. I accept rejection with a positive attitude. I think positively about myself no matter how others may feel. Now, whichever ones of those resonate for you, write them down. Because this is really, really, really important stuff, you guys. I had somebody who just reached out to me. I had a course that I did, was called Overcoming Your Fears. And we dived so deep into each person's individual fears. And I chatted with each of them and we worked through some of them. And it was so cool. I just had somebody reach out to me. They worked with me over a year ago. And they opened up those affirmations and they said, Joanne, just about every single one of these has come true for me. And I thought, that's amazing. From somebody who was scared to put themselves out there to, somebody who's confident now putting themselves out there. That is huge. And so our very next one, some of you might actually be surprised by this one, but I want you really listening to it. It is the fear of being seen or watched. Now, some of you might be like, what? The fear of being seen? Yeah, it's actually a social phobia or a social anxiety. It's a real thing. And maybe you're not experiencing it to the full extent of the medical diagnosis for it, but it is generally related to the fear of being judged by others in a negative way. You're afraid of not being liked, being rejected, being seen as a failure, and it can lead to you not sharing your message, which stops you from building relationships with a potential audience. So a lot of people who are plagued by this one are introverts, those people that like to spend time by themselves, empaths, people that take on the emotions of other people, and highly sensitive people. Anytime they hear any kind of negativity, they take it personally. So when you have this fear of being seen or visible, you might, think that you're going to come off as salesy or not authentic. You worry that you're not going to look or sound good enough. You get in this cycle of self-doubt and this questioning that leads to analysis paralysis. You wonder if you're good enough to talk about the topic, and so you don't show up in a specific space. You assume that since you lack experience and extroverted personality or the right lighting, that can't possibly show up effectively. But just because these thoughts arise don't mean that they're the truth. You have an important message to share. You have valuable work that you do and more clients to serve. And you can make an impact just by showing up and being who you are. And amazing person in our community, Suzanne Davis, has walked through this path. And she's going to be sharing her story tomorrow on Clubhouse. So join us tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Central to hear her story. She's also going to be joining us on Thursday's YouTube Live and sharing her story. And so definitely come on in to see how she overcame this. What was her story? What was her fear of being seen? What did it stem from? We're going to go into all of the details. So keep showing up so you can be inspired by this story, because today she gets found by 3 to 4 new clients a week because of overcoming this fear. So you might start thinking these kinds of things, like you might even be proud of this. You might be proud that you're not on social media right now, right? You might stay off of social media and be like, nope, not creating those accounts. The thought of putting information about yourself online means that people will find you. And if they find you, they're watching you, and you don't like to be watched, right? So this could, it could be from a past situation where you were watched. Maybe someone was stalking you and you have a fear that if you put that information on out there, that person's going to find you, right? Many tutors have this fear. They don't even know why they have it. They just want to get their tutoring business up and running, get students from all over the world, but they don't want to put any information about themselves on the internet, which is going to lead to negative consequences with your business, right? If nobody knows that you exist for your tutoring services, nobody can hire you. And so here's 10 ways that you can try to start managing it. Reassure yourself that you're safe, because fear, it can be a primal instinct that makes us feel like our very livelihood is at risk. So remind yourself that putting yourself out there is a relatively small risk, right? as opposed to like a hungry tiger attacking you, and that you're going to be okay. Next, take baby steps to being visible. You don't have to jump on every single social media, train today. Okay. Don't try to do everything all at once. It is going to overwhelm you and then keep you in analysis paralysis. If you imagine going from hiding behind your laptop or a logo for your business and then doing a Facebook Live every day, you are going to freak out. So instead, just identify one baby step that you can take, like posting something about yourself on an Instagram story. 3, remember that you're in control of what you share. No one is saying that you need to tell the world about, your divorce, right? Your miscarriage or a really hard time when you lost your job. You get to decide what you share and what you keep private. Next, learn to work with the fear. Learn not to run from your fear or to avoid it at all costs. Notice the fear, listen to its concerns without letting it totally take over. Remember that you're in the driver's seat. Believe in your vision more than the fear. So many of us started this tutoring business because we love it and it makes a positive impact on kids, right? So what change do you want to make in the world, in the lives of your students? Get clearer on your why and ground yourself in that. Next, remind yourself, that your work is valuable. Ask for support from people and keep perspective. Every single person on this planet has their own stuff that's going on, right? And they aren't likely thinking about you as much as you think. So consider the next time, you post a blog, you do a live video, or you send out a newsletter that, what people are going through sometimes has nothing to do with you. And then just embrace the healing process. This isn't going to be an overnight, success right out of the gate. Many of us experience fear of being seen because we weren't seen and heard as kids. We recognize that you're in charge now and decide how that you want to move forward. And lastly, trust yourself. Most of our fears are unfounded, they're future-oriented, right? We can imagine the worst-case scenario while there's actually a ton of possible outcomes. So consider the upside and trust yourself to be able to manage whatever arises. And here are 4 positive affirmations that can help you moving forward with this. I'm willing to be seen online. The more I show up online, the more confident I become. Most people are good and will not use my information to harm me. More people are finding me because I'm showing up and being authentic. And I love it. Magnolia Beauty showed up and she said, face everything and rise. Right? We got to face these fears. I love it. The next one is imposter syndrome. And this is actually 70% of high achieving people actually experience imposter syndrome. This is highly intelligent people that fear that somebody else is better experienced to share the information that we're sharing. Now, I could have been sitting here today and saying, you know what, I'm not a psychologist, so I really can't share about these top fears that I see tutors having. Well, that would be inaccurate, right? Like, I don't have to be a psychologist to say, hey, here are some top fears. If we recognize them, we can begin doing something about them. And here's some affirmations that we can say, right? I don't have to have written 10 books, been on CNN and Dr. Oz in order to share my experience of the types of fears that people, tutors specifically, experience and what they can do instead, right? If I could have come from it from that point of view and said, no, I'm just gonna interview somebody who's an expert. I could do that, right? That could be another way to go about it. Sure, I could interview an expert. Could you interview an expert? Sure, who has more knowledge? Absolutely. Find somebody who's written a book. They might be excited to talk about the topic, right? So don't let those kinds of things like stop you from doing it. Another is we are constantly comparing ourselves to others, right? Other people might be like, oh my gosh, Joanne's been tutoring since 2010. There's no way that I could do, online reading tutoring, or I can't create a video like her. She has so much enthusiasm and excitement, and I'm just more kind of like down to earth, right? I can't do that, or you believe that success is just luck. Some people will be like, oh my gosh, Joanne, you are so lucky to have such a huge audience. You have no idea how much time I've put in to being able to grow my audience, connect with my audience, and engage with my audience, right? So it's unfair of us to assume that success is due to luck. We want to overcome all of this by building our self-confidence and being resilient and having a growth mindset. Focus on your strengths, take stock of your accomplishments, be grateful for the opportunities that are in front of you. And, continue learning. Never stop learning. I always tell people, that you truly are an expert when you have read every book and they all start sounding the same. When you get to that point, you're like, oh, yep, I knew that. Yep. Oh, there's some new information here. Okay, cool. Well, then I'm not necessarily an expert. Doesn't mean I can't talk on some of those other things, right? I absolutely can. But those things will help. So here's some affirmations that can help in this situation. I don't have to know everything. I just have to put my best foot forward and be sincere. That is highly valuable. 2, I always show up and give it my best. 3, I'm safe in the spotlight and I humbly accept the accolades. 6, I don't have to overanalyze my success. I can just let it flow. And I'm going to throw in another one there. After every mistake, I come back stronger and better. The next one is financial fears. And a lot of us have emotions when it comes to money, right? Rather than dealing with it in a pragmatic manner, a lot of us have these huge fears about making money. That I'm not going to be able to get enough students. I'm not going to be able to make enough money. I'm never going to have enough money, right? These fears that hold us back, that we're not going to ever have enough money, are going to hinder your success. Some people say, I don't know what I would do if I had plenty of money. Some people say, I really don't understand money. Well, guess what? Add learning about money to your learning list of things that you need to continually learn about, right? I don't understand everything about money, but I'm continuing to put myself in there to learn more about money. So right now I'm learning about stocks, investments, I'm learning about cryptocurrency, all of these kinds of things. They're helping me understand money better. I have to be responsible for other people's money. Some of us think that we have to take care of money. We don't give them the kudos that they could learn these things for themselves, and we try to take responsibility for their money, and that's not our job. Some people have this thought that my money represents something important about me, like how much I make, how little I make, right? It defines me. A lot of people fear, like, I'm going to lose my job, or I'm never going to have enough students, right? This one comes on up a lot, and then it goes down that negative path to a terrible place. And some people think that there's something wrong with talking about money, so they try to avoid it at all costs. And we have a big fear about talking about money in our society. The problem is that a lot of the other fears that we have about money, we can overcome it with some different steps. So we have to release those thoughts of poverty and lack and insecurity. We have to release that energy and that belief that we don't have enough. And so here are some of the affirmations I have for this one. I don't struggle with finances. Whenever I need money, it comes. I remove all obstacles preventing my cash flow. I have more than enough. Money comes to me easily. I say this daily. Money will never be my problem. I believe this wholeheartedly now. My income is more than my expenses. My wages are paid in full. I know how to grow and spend money. My income continues to grow. I have enough money to clear my debt. I have the power to create wealth. And the last one is the fear of loneliness. So a lot of people think that if I do online tutoring, that I am going to be lonely, right? Maybe in-person tutoring feels like a better fit for me because otherwise I'm lonely. But that's just because they haven't explored it fully to work online, right? It's not just the students that you work with. Think about the relationships that you have in and out of the online world. So you can grow relationships with other tutors online, right? Build community You have the ability to go on out and take part in action in an activity you enjoy doing, a hobby that you enjoy doing with a group of people outside of the internet, right? Maybe you want to join a bike club, or you want to join jazzercise with me. You absolutely can do those kinds of things, right? So put yourself in positions where you then aren't lonely, so that you can still connect with people in an authentic manner. So some of the things that you can have for an affirmation is: life is beautiful just the way it is. My life has meaning and purpose. I'm in the company of my loved ones who love and care for me. And the people who love me will be there for me when I need them most. Even if we're separated by distance, time, or circumstances, they will always be there for me in spirit. And the last one, loneliness is a sign that I need to take some time for myself. So, you guys, hopefully these help you as you move forward with identifying your fears, what you can do instead, and some positive affirmations that can get your day started right, so that you can begin bringing that success into your life. Thanks for joining me today, and come join us tomorrow on Clubhouse, where Suzanne Davis will be sharing her story of her fear of being seen and how it affected her tutoring business. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you later. Bye, everyone.